Last week, I co-hosted a workshop with some other Ferrabundle contributors called Goals, Gaps and Growth. We realised with there being 93 offers in Ferrabundle, that could be quite overwhelming. So what we wanted to do is put together a workshop to help people really just focus in on 1 to 3 areas that they wanted to accomplish within their private practice, because we knew that even with just getting a handful of the offers, you would still be making a saving. So my part in that video was to talk about something else that people find really overwhelming, and that is time management. I talk about that a lot on my channel, so I really wanted to put that into the workshop and help people manage their time. So that is what today's video is all about. It is that part of the workshop where I'm talking about time management and helping you manage your time more effectively so you can achieve your goals, whether you bought Ferrabundle or not. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists in private practice get online, get confident with admin and reduce tech overwhelm. So we're going to jump straight into the workshop now. You'll see that I'm giving a presentation and talking to people. So this is a live recording of the workshop and I really hope you find it useful. When it comes to time management, these are the things that I have found really work for me. So multitasking. I read that one study found that just 2.5% of people are actually able to multitask effectively, but that the other 97.5 think that they're in the 2.5 category. Now, I definitely think I'm in the 2.5 category, so I don't know if I am actually able to multitask or if I'm just delusional, who knows. But what I do know is by time blocking, and I'll explain what that is in a second, that is how I'm able to get so much done. So time blocking is effectively deciding what you're going to do and chunking things together and setting aside those chunks of time to focus on one thing. So when I say like chunking things together, so you could chunk in things like emails and answering voicemails and things like that. That's all the same type of task. So you put them together in one block. Whereas another block might be to work on this goal that we have been talking about this whole, workshop and chunking that. So you might be doing different things, but it's all with one goal in mind. And that is to move this forward of what you want to do. The other thing that's really worked for me, and I talk about this so much for anybody here that is in my audience, it is the book, The 12-Week Year. If you've not read this book, I so highly recommend this book. It's completely changed the way I manage my time and how I'm able to focus on my goals and my projects, because I have my business, I have my own clients, I'm then growing this online second business, I then have my team that I have to manage. Like, we've all got so much going on. I've got a family and the house and all that kind of stuff, what everybody else does. But how I've been able to really focus is with these two things. So it's the book and then time blocking. So I'm just going to give you a real quick overview of the 12-week year. First of all, this is by no means like you don't need to read the book anymore. I definitely think read it, but this is the premise of the book. It's get more done in 12 weeks than others can do in 12 months. Doesn't matter about the others or you. It's basically saying when you're setting yourself a goal, set it for the next 12 weeks. So it's not saying, oh, in 2024, I want to make my website. It's like, no, let's do this in the first 12 weeks. Let's get this goal completed in the first 12 weeks. What the book says is to only focus on 1 to 3 things. So it depends how big the goal is. If I was going to completely create a new website or redo my website, that would be my only goal for that quarter, 100%. But if I had 3 kind of small goals that I wanted to achieve, then that's okay too. So if it's like, oh, I want to network with more people, so maybe you're looking to grow your private practice and you want to get more clients recommended to you by your colleagues or by doctors and things like that. That's a goal that could definitely have another goal attached to it, because networking, you could spend an hour a week doing that, but then there's more time to do other things like start a blog, for example. Each of these goals should be SMART goals. So these are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So the time-bound, obviously, we're going to get this done in 12 weeks. Specific is, it's so specific. So I had a goal where I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I absolutely cannot influence that. There's nothing I can do to make sure I get 1,000 subscribers. But what I can do is make sure I am posting one YouTube video every single week. That's really specific. It's one video every single week. So it's given me that realistic. I can't do more than one video a week. I don't have the time. I'm I've got to plan it, script it, film it, edit it, upload it. I'm doing everything. So I can't do more than one, but I'm happy with that one, that's realistic for me. I feel like that's achievable, that I can do one a week. It's measurable, it's one a week, and it's very specific. And obviously the time bound is, I'm going to do it once a week for the whole 12 weeks. So you want to pick something like that when you are planning your goal. You want to make sure that it's a SMART goal. And then finally, consistency is key. You want to have small actionable steps that you can take each week of those 12 weeks to achieve your goal. So you might say, I want to create a website. That's huge. If you thought about that, you'd be like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. So you really want to start thinking about, okay, well, maybe you need to learn about SEO. Maybe you need to do some training around how to do your homepage or your about page or your service page. Maybe you need to just go out and have a look at other therapists' websites and see what they put on their website. And then the next step might be, okay, I'm just going to write a Google Doc of how I want it to be. And then you want to find some images. So there's a lot that goes into building a website. But if you make really small actionable steps, it makes it so much more manageable and achievable for yourself. Okay. So the next thing is to create these blocks. So this is where the time blocking comes in. So the first part of the time blocking is going to be your core work. So this is the stuff that you're paid for. And this has to come first because we all need to earn money, right? So this is going to be, for most of you, this is going to be your clients that you are seeing. So this is planning in your therapy sessions or your coaching sessions or whatever it is that you're actually paid for. That has to come first. The next bit is putting in some buffer blocks. So this is stuff that must be done, but it doesn't move the needle. It's not affecting your goal. It's things like reading emails, answering voicemails. I mean, there's loads of things in here that can be chucked into a buffer block. And what the book suggests is either a 1 hour time block a day or 2 30 minutes. So you're not checking emails between therapy sessions. You're actually having a time block for that, maybe in the morning and the afternoon, so that you know that you're not worrying about, oh, this email, I haven't got to my inbox yet, I'm so worried about all these emails. You actually know, do you know what, I'm going to check it at 1 o'clock. Nothing is going to happen between now and then that I need to worry about. Thirdly, we have a strategic block. So this is the stuff that does move the needle, and it doesn't have to be all action. It can be training as well. So it can be doing the research, it can be doing a training course, but it also can be making the action as well. And then finally, we need a creative block. So we need time away from work to be able to spark some creativity. So I know for me, if I planned a day to think about a new online course or something like that, I would never do it. It's never going to come to me. Those things are going to come to me when I'm having a shower, when I'm going for a walk, when I'm listening to a podcast, maybe about something completely different, but an idea is going to spark in me. So the book says that you should actually block some time within your working week that actually is just for you. Now, some people might say, oh, that's impossible, I don't have that time. So maybe there's one evening that you could do this, where you just do something for yourself. I've now taken Tuesday evenings are mine. My husband feeds the kids, puts them to bed, and it's my time that I'm just for me. He goes to the gym all the time, so he owes me. And but it could be, some time in the weekend, get up early one morning to do some yoga, anything, whatever works for you in your schedule. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we actually plan all these blocks into our day? So I've got a free template. I've actually got two. And the reason I've got two is because I used to plan a weekly schedule. And so I used to, create this weekly schedule. And that's what you're going to see in the next few slides. But now I've started working on more of a monthly basis, and there's quite a few reasons for this. And I did a whole YouTube video on why I've moved from weekly planning to monthly planning. So what I've done is I've put both templates into the chat. Well, Jenny's going to add them for you. You don't need to sign up to anything to get them. That will literally take you to the doc. You can download both of them if you want and switch between them, see which one works better for you. Download them now so that we can take some time to kind of start planning this if you want to as well. And in TheraBundle, Tamika Leon also has time management for women. So for those of us who identify as women here, that could be a really helpful course for you too, because our hormones and everything does fluctuate throughout the month. And some days I'm okay being on camera and I'm really outgoing and I want to record videos. And sometimes I have the biggest brain fog and I can't even think straight. So it really does affect how I plan my month, and I know kind of like where I'm going to be. So sometimes I'll just have time where I'm doing some research. Maybe I'm on ChatGPT asking them for, you know, blog recommendations or YouTube video recommendations. And then sometimes I am actually filming those. So that's why I've moved to a monthly schedule, and that's why I've given 2 different templates. So the first thing we want to do is we've got to start with our must do's. Now, this is going to look different for everyone. I'm planning this as if I was a therapist, but I'm also planning it as if I'm a mum who's a therapist. Okay, so you might have completely different must do's. Maybe you look after your parents. There could be so many things that you have to do. Maybe, you know, whatever. So you want to plan those in first. So whatever that is. So for me, I have a morning routine with my kids, which basically is just shouting at them to get dressed and eat constantly over and over again. And then I have the school run. I always plan in my lunch as a must do, because I think it's really important to make sure you're taking time away from work to, you know, eat and, you know, get that sustenance into you. And then I've got school runs in the afternoon, and I've also got this says weekly, but that's why it would be more of a monthly one, of like supervision that I'm tied to. You know, I've signed up to the supervision, and so this is a must do for me. The next thing you want to add in is your ideal or current work schedule. And the reason I've got ideal or current is because I redo this each quarter, depending on what I've got going on. So this quarter, when I redid this, I knew that I would be spending so much time working for my clients, specifically Tamara, helping her with TheraBundle prep and all the contributors and then the launch and everything like that. So I wouldn't have time to focus on anything to do with my goals. So this quarter, I didn't have a goal for my own business, really. It was just really, I'm just going to concentrate on dealing with TheraBundle. So it is going to change, but I understand that for most therapists, they are going to have a like work schedule that's not exactly the same as mine. So you'd have like your therapy sessions. But if you currently work early mornings, evenings, or weekends, and you don't want to do that anymore, it's trying to see, okay, right, this is what I want it to look like. How can I get to that? Can I move somebody in their session time to a different time? Or when that person finishes or graduates from me, I'm just not going to replace that. I'm not going to do that evening anymore because I don't want to work evenings. And actually, I'm going to open up an extra morning or something like that. So it's adding in your work schedule. So I put in here, like, prepare for client sessions. If I was a therapist, I would assume I would need to look at notes from the previous time I saw the client. So I just assume that, you know, I'm just kind of making this up. But this is going to be for, you know, how it works for you. The next bit is to add in your buffer block. So this is when you're going to be looking at your emails. This is when you're going to be doing your practice admin. So this could be invoice and bookkeeping, your medical insurance. It could be loads of different things that you're doing for your practice. And it's really, these are the things that are not moving the needle, but we have to do it. So I like to plan this in the morning and in the afternoon. So when I come back from lunch, I'll recheck my emails, make sure nobody's cancelled the sessions or anything like that. But I know that I've got that time blocked and I'm not, you know, jumping between things. So if you're doing a therapy session for 50 minutes and then for those 10 minutes you're looking at emails, it can really distract you and take you out of what your focus is, because they're 2 very different things, I would assume. Like I said, I've not done therapy, but I could assume being with a client in therapy is very different from answering emails. So you don't want to take yourself out of that mindset. Plus, you also need to have that time to go to the toilet or get some water or something like that. So that's why we plan in these buffer blocks. And then finally, we're planning in our strategic and our creative block. So I've got here networking and marketing. I've got CPD or training. And then I've got that big strategic block on a Friday morning. The book says to have at least 3-hour blocks. If you can't do it like that, you can separate things out. You could do an hour here and an hour there, but you really should be kind of having that 3 hours to move your business forward. Because if you have a goal and you're not working on it every single week, you're never going to achieve it. So this is like a really simplified version. I understand that, you know, it doesn't always work out like this, but if we start planning, we can really start moving the business forward and achieving the goals. So that is how I, you know, plan my life. I literally do this every single quarter. I have the spreadsheet up on my wall, and then I transfer it to a Google Calendar as well with more specific things. So
I'll have all my buffer blocks in there. But for example, with the therapy session on your Google Calendar, for example, you'd have who you were seeing, you'd have your Zoom links and all that kind of stuff to help you, you know, speed things up like that. So you're not constantly going back and forward. So there's lots of things you can do in your system to help you stay on track with this. But basically, this is like the basis of it. And then you would move it to a Google Calendar to help you with all the specifics.
Thanks so much for watching that workshop. I really hope you found all the tools that I gave useful. Like I said in the workshop, I will leave a link in the description to both of those templates. There's no sign up required. Those links will take you straight to the Google Docs so that you can just download them and start using them right away. I'll also link to any other videos that I mentioned in the workshop as well, which goes more into depth about the 12-week year and also time blocking. If you like this video, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I post every single week and I'd really love to have you with me. But for now, thanks so much for watching.